Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Sunday, January 26, 2020. In both the Lynn life and the Jamie body mind, the authorized souls remain only child souls from the deeper, denser dimensions, and all other souls from all other dimensions, as long as the souls are already living by the many search for truth rules already given to the search for truth community by wiser minds above all of us, and many of those rules have already been explored in detail on camera. And many of those rules have to do with focusing on what matters most, focusing on the work that has been assigned to each of us as individuals and to us as collectives. We all have something that we are supposed to be doing every lifetime, every decade, every year, every month, every week, every moment, really. And to be focusing on that is the most important thing, and the challenge is how to conduct ourselves in a world gone insane.
That's right.
Where it seems to be acceptable to ignore reality. We have this big deadline, February 2nd, 2020, that has been given to clearly more than just humanity, but all of humanity, probably all life on Earth, probably all angels and godly presences affiliated with planet Earth. And as best we can tell, it's kind of like put up or shut up time.
Yeah,
all of us are supposed to show what we've done with regard to our sacred vows to Spirit. And for those of us who are living little lives here on Earth, we all have something that we're supposed to be doing. That's what these wiser minds above are saying.
That's right.
And it's kind of like put up or shut up time. What have we done in our sacred vows to Spirit? Somebody is saying we might think of it as a midterm exam.
Yes,
the final exam obviously comes when we shuffle off this mortal coil and we eventually make our way up through the clouds of the dead to our guardian angels, and our guardian angels say, is this your signature? It's always a signature. We've never in all these decades seen anything that wasn't the correct signature.
Yeah, that's right.
What have you done on your sacred vows to Spirit? And so we're having a midterm exam.
Yeah, that's
kind of. And it's showtime for all of us. And now to really consider each of us as individuals, what more can we do? What have we done and what more can we do? We are aware that this filming is scheduled to air on February 2nd, but there's still 10 days between today and then. Or it's not 10 days.
Is it 7 days?
There might be 7 days between now and then. There might be 1 week left.
That's right.
And we're aware of that. We hope the angels and godly presences are aware of it. The microphone just shifted, and somebody is sad about what the angels and godly presences are supposed to have accomplished by the date this is scheduled to air, which is February 2nd, 2020.
That's true.
They're supposed to have a divine plan that's based in reality, takes into account reality as it exists on planet Earth and presumably throughout the contaminated zone.
That's true.
And then to have a divine plan that gets us from where we are, based in reality, to where we need to be, which is stopping the destruction in a fair and just way. Now, obviously, there's a lot that can happen after we stop the destruction, but first things first, we have to really stop the destruction. And to do that in a fair and just way, because that's how divinity would actually function.
Yeah, that's true.
Please may we have a divine plan based in reality that stops the destruction in a fair and just way. And somebody up there is asking why would we think our petition would be valid. And we just base that on the sacrifices made by the leading divine presences for this planet, who have literally used themselves up in the effort to manifest the divine plan, pretty much proving that the existing plan or the previous plan is a no-go.
Right, that's true.
It's not workable, and so we need a new divine plan. There's supposed to be a plan based in reality. We have been taught, the microphone shifted again, we have been taught and again, it's still in this room of, feels like researchers maybe.
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
Researchers who have said we have been taught that the divine plan is woven from all the individual soul plans to
That's
create a
right.
world that works
That's
in
right.
all dimensions and for all categories of sentience inside of those dimensions. And we know that that's a tall order, and so we're really saying, how about let's just get to a plan that stops the destruction in a fair and just way. And now there's another faction who's saying, when are you going to stop the bullies? Can we please just have a date, just for planning purposes, speaking to the even larger godly presences. Please, can we have a date? When are you going to stop siding with bullies by not stopping the bullies? Just can we have a date for planning purposes?
Do you hear anything?
No, I don't hear anything.
No, me neither, but it goes up.
It goes up. I would like to know the answer to that question.
Yeah.
May we please have a date, just a date. When are you guys going to stop siding with the bullies by not stopping the bullies? Why are koala bears being roasted in their trees because humanity can't control its fossil fuel addiction?
That's what they're talking about.
That's just wrong. Can we surely we can see that, right? Why are more than 50%, and by estimates, some estimates more than 60%
That's right.
of non-human life murdered at humanity's hands? How can this be acceptable? And what about the indigenous human societies,
It's
or
a good
gentle
point.
human societies? Why are they being destroyed basically because of societies like ours, and maybe primarily because of our own society?
That's true.
What about that? And what about in other parts of the world, these poor children, basically they're children who are being raped by men, and they'd have no access to birth control, and then they, at age 14, find themselves parents to more children.
That's
who
right.
will at age 14 also be raped by men, and we need a spay and neuter program for humanity. Like, we really need to get this under control. It's
And
like
this is one of those
humanity has gone
researchers
feral.
who's speaking.
This is a researcher in a room of angels and godly presences who are somehow responsible for planet Earth, and they seem to have invited in the researchers, and the researchers seem to be saying things that the ruling elite do not want them to be saying, but it is still what they're saying.
Yeah, that's true.
They're saying that humanity has gone feral. Humanity wants to pretend there is no God, or that God surely does their bidding, and they don't word it quite that way, but that's exactly how it's being treated.
Exactly.
So that's a feral species, and what we do with feral species is what somebody else is saying. What we do with feral species is we kindly implement a spay and neuter program to
That's what they're
limit the
saying.
conversation and the population, and that's what they're saying. Please may we have a divine plan based in reality that stops the destruction in a fair and just way. How may we be of service to meet the deadline of 2020-0202 at 2 o'clock? How may we be of service to meet the deadline? It's coming up. It's showtime. It's midterms. And these two host lives, our assignments are to be a portal from the higher dimensions so that they can work to facilitate the divine plan.
That's right.
So how may we be of service to meet the deadline of 2020-0202? That deadline is right in front of us. And on the day this airs, it may have already happened by the time people see
That's
this.
true.
How may we be of service to meet the deadline that's dead ahead? Do you hear anything?
No. It's open upstairs, though.
It's open. Somebody is asking, about implementing instant karma
I
for
hear
the
that.
worst of the worst. And it's kind of like they're saying, well, this is an idea that we jettisoned or relinquished a while ago. Maybe it's time to put it back on the table and say, all right, well, if we were to implement instant karma for the bad tail of the bell curve of karma, for those who are pulling humanity in the direction of destruction, how would we go about it? And somebody else is saying, well, what has been proposed is to take the unused guardian angelship and reallocate them, take that 80 to 90% of guardian angels who are really possibly unable to do their assigned tasks, possibly because of the complexity of the situation, and assign them to a place where it's really simple, which is that worst of the worst collection of presences who are pulling humanity into destruction of all life on earth, and just beat the crap out of those people with divine hands, so to speak. Like really, really implement instant karma. And it would be fossil fuel executives and poison industry executives and people who are fighting the population controls that are so desperately needed, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Whoever is amping up the destruction. And to just implement instant karma for them as is already occurring for the best of the best. And the reason it's already happening for the best of the best is the best of the best are saying, please may we have our karma instantly. I don't want it building up. Thanks.
That's right.
I'd rather deal with it as I go. And so we're not saying, oh, do something for bad people that isn't already happening for other people. We're saying just balance the tails of the bell curve of karma in such a way as to provide guidance to the masses so that the center part of the bell curve of karma, humanity can start to come to more accurate assessments about whether or not there is divinity, whether or not karma is real, whether or not we should consider our actions before we take them, basically.
Yeah, that's right.
Wouldn't that be nice to have some guidance? We think it's nice. We appreciate it. We appreciate having a twig jam in our eye after we think an unkind thought. We actually do appreciate it. It's like, oh
true.
wow, I was being a jerk.
I can let it go.
I can let it go.
I can let it go.
We appreciate
Yeah, I
that.
really do.
For him is the message. What's actually going on? Please may we have a divine plan that's based in reality, that stops the destruction in a fair and just way. And how can we be of service to meet the deadline that's dead ahead?